Hey there, welcome back. I'm the Chicken Guy on YouTube. Today, I want to walk you through one of the most important parts of raising day-old chicks, keeping their temperature just right from day one until they're able to handle the outdoors all on their own. I'll go over how I set up my brooder and what I recommend that you do and use to set up your own brooder at home. I'll also go over how I slowly transition them to get ready for any temperature outdoors. If you get this part down, you'll be able to raise any chick in any temperature. Outdoors, no problem. Alright, now when you first get a baby chick, it might be a day old, it might be a few days old, maybe a week or two old. At this point, they still can't regulate their own body temperature. So what we use are brooders. I recommend using a 75 watt heat bulb and not one of those 250 watt bulbs, because I think those ones are just first gonna waste too much electricity and they're gonna create way too much heat for what we need. All we need is to make a small zone or a small little area that we can create a fake mother hen like warm zone, I call it. You want it to be 95 degrees exactly. A little bit more, not too much less is fine, but you want it to be right there in that 95 degree area. Often I feel like when people set up their brooder box and they come home and they get these 250 watt giant bulbs, they put them in the box and the whole entire box cooks. That's not what we want to do. We don't want to make our entire brooder box 95 degrees. We just want to make a small little area where it's 95 degrees, where the chicks can go there if they want and they can stay as close to it or as far away as they want. You want to make the other half of the brooder, possibly even cooler, and let them experience that different temperature change. It's okay for them. They just need that one place where it's 95 degrees. I recommend buying a small temperature sensor, maybe one like this or like this, and you can put one on each end of the brooder box so you know how hot your hot zone is and how cool your cool zone is. Also, as far as regulating your temperature, I recommend buying something like this that can help keep your temperature at the exact place that you want it. I think it's just a temperature sensor, or I'll put it on screen, whatever it's called. But you use this to help get that perfect 95 degree temperature. This is going to keep that light on when it's under that temperature, but turn it off when it exceeds that temperature, making sure that you're not cooking your little chicklings there. Now usually for a brooder box, what I use is a 45-gallon tote. I have one over here that I'll show you guys and how I set it up in a moment. And I'll use that indoors, preferably if you can. If you have to, you can put them out on your porch or something. Just try to block out the wind and make sure, of course, they have covering in case it does rain. I would only have about 15 to 20 chicks max in a 40-gallon tote. So if you're gonna have multiple chicks, like 100 or 50, just buy more totes. Have 3, 4, 5 totes going at the same time and just put 15 or 20 of them in each. Now, once they're 2 weeks old, you can move them outdoors if you want. You can keep them indoors for another week or two if you really want, but at this point you can move them outside if they still have that 95 degree temperature area for them. I like to move them outdoors as soon as possible, week 2 or 3, just because they do smell when they're inside the house. It gets, they get pretty messy, and keeping them in that tote for more than 2 weeks is, starts to push it. So they're gonna need a bigger brooder area. You can make a bigger brooder area and still keep them indoors, but I recommend you just start moving them outdoor into your coop. This is where I do want to make a short little pause and tell you guys that 95% of all chicken coop fires start when these light bulbs burst and these wood shavings catch on fire. So you want to try to protect from that and just be cautious of that. I do have this coop kind of standalone, and if there was a fire, hopefully it would not spread too much. Ideally, I would want to make these walls here out of maybe like a metal or something that could again help keep in any flames that maybe would spark up. As of right now, I literally just put it together with some extra pieces of plywood and I don't know, a dresser that broke. So it works for now, but if you want to go above and beyond, you can keep that in mind. Maybe get some kind of fire retardant material that can help prevent the spread of any kind of fire. Again, just remember, 95% of all chicken coop fires start because of these light bulbs. Now we have to use them, so just be careful. Be mindful. Now, as far as my outdoor brooder setup, it's very similar to the indoor coop area or the indoor brooder that I was telling you about. What I have here is a small little area where the temperature stays 95 degrees exactly. Again, the way that I achieve that is with one of those sensors, and I have that sensor tied here to this little, perching stand that I have for the chicks. I put the sensor and I put the perch stand right there in the middle, and those light bulbs turn on and they help keep the temperature right at the right temperature that I want. So for the first week or two, it's going to be at 95 degrees. These sensors are actually on right now, so maybe you've seen them going on and off. They're only on right now during the day because I wanted to film this video and I wanted to show and film a little segment where I show you how exactly they're working. So you see here we're starting at about 65 degrees, which is about what the temperature is outside right now. And you see it already starting to warm it up. Now you can see that the temperature's increased to 72 degrees, 73, and I'm actually going to show you how I adjust this. So right now the temperature is set at 75 degrees, but I'm actually going to be moving them down now to 70 degrees and set. So now, 72. Now the lights have turned off, as you can see here in the coop. Or in their brooder. The lights have turned off. Now once that temperature sensor there reads under 70 degrees, it'll kick the lights back on. The lights will then stay on until we reach 70 degrees again, and then it'll turn off. So it'll constantly keep that 70 degree temperature zone for the chicks. And again, I only have this on right now so that I could show you during the daytime. But usually, this is only on at night for them. So it's only going to be on at night. It has a timer. I'll show you that timer next, right after these lights kick back on. So we're actually, right about now, we're dropping below 70 degrees. I think it has to drop about a degree or two, and then the lights will kick back on. So right now we're at 69.4 degrees. And there you go. So the lights kick back on. We see this reading here now. It was at 69 degrees. So now this will go until it reads 70 degrees. I think it'll go till 71 degrees. And then when it hits 71 degrees, the lights will turn off again. So that's pretty much what's going on in the middle of the night with them. So for week 1 and some of week 2, you might want to keep the light on 24/7 and just make sure it's at 95 degrees. After that, I only have the light on in the nighttime. Kind of about an hour before sunset, it comes on, and then an hour after sunrise it kicks off. So, you know, about 12 or 13, 14 hours it's on there during the nighttime. Alright, next I want to talk to you about how I slowly transition the chicks to handle any temperature, even in the middle of winter. So what you're going to do is that first week or two, as we've discussed, is keep their zone right at 95 degrees. After that, you're going to want to bump it down 5 degrees every week. So by week 3, you're going to put the hot zone at 90 degrees. And then on week 4, you'll be at 85, and then 80, and 75, and so on. And you do this until you notice that either the chicks don't really need it anymore, meaning they're not huddling around that bulb in the middle of the night and looking for warmth, or you do this until the outdoor temperature is the same temperature as the light bulb, of course, in the middle of the night. So currently right now, our nighttime temperatures are about 50 to 52 degrees. So I'm going to keep doing this process. We're at 70 degrees, and I keep doing it until I get to about 50 degrees, or, as I said, I notice that the chicks don't really need it much. And personally, I watch them at night, and I don't see them huddled around the light, maybe one or two, but I think they can maybe handle it without it. But so far, I haven't taken the light completely off. Alright, now I want to show you exactly how I set up those brooders. So I'll bring out a tote and show you how I set that up, and then I'll go into detail actually how my brooder here outdoors is actually set up. So I want to show you the outdoor brooder. I kind of already explained it to you, but there are details that I haven't gone into yet. So there's that temperature sensor, and I have 4 of these 75-watt bulbs here, and I lay down the wood shavings. I have a tarp down, and underneath the tarp I actually have 2 of those seedling pads. The seedling pad came with this temperature regulator. Now I want to get into the temperature regulator. It's plugged into a timer there, and that's where I get my power. So the power is coming from the extension cord, and I then go to the timer. The timer only comes on an hour before sunset and an hour after sunrise. It turns off, and I set the temperature here, and then the power out for when it turns on feeds this power bar. The power bar is what the lamps are plugged into. The power bar is what the seedling heating pad is on. So the seedling pad and the light bulbs turn on when it needs to get to that temperature. This is actually one of the first years that I've gone both seedling pad and light bulb, and I've actually noticed a lot of success, and it's actually going really good. Now I want to get into what your brooder can look like in your garage or in your house. I just use one of these totes. I throw down some wood shavings, and then I put one of these light bulbs. Usually I'll just zip tie it and just have a light bulb in right there, and then we can use the little temperature sensor to keep that 95 degree temperature. And I usually will just tie it on like right there with the zip tie, or as you've seen, I just use the wire itself to tie a knot, and then that'll help keep that 95 degree temperature. Again, I keep this in one of the corners like that, and the other corner is where I'll put the food and water. Maybe one day I'll show you a setup when we get some baby chicks again, which might be pretty soon. Well, I appreciate you making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all of that. And I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you can apply something that you learned here.